All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we're going deep into the world of bicycle assemblers. We've got a whole stack of research here from RoleCatcher, and let me tell you, it's way more interesting than I thought it'd be.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you think bicycle assembler, you don't exactly picture like a career path, right? But RoleCatcher really gets into it. The skills, the tech, it's a whole thing.
Right. Like, I thought we'd be talking about putting training wheels on tricycles, but this guide, Bicycle Assembler, the complete career guide, it jumps right into the nitty-gritty. Mountain bikes, road bikes, even trailers. Trailers I never would have thought.
And that's just scratching the surface. I think the role function section was the most surprising for me. So obviously, mechanical skills, that's a given. But they found that a whopping 62% of the role is actually customer service.
Wait, hold up. 62%. Seriously. I figured you'd be like tucked away in a workshop, covered in grease, not talking to anyone.
And that's the thing. It's not just about building a bike. It's about building a relationship with the customer. Think about it. Someone brings in their granddad's old Schwinn, wants it restored to its former glory. You're not just swapping out rusty parts. You're tapping into your knowledge, sourcing vintage components. You become a trusted advisor.
Yeah, that makes sense. I hadn't thought of it like that. And speaking of workshops, the guy did mention the environment can be kind of, well, intense. Noise, dust, maybe some chemicals in the air. Not exactly your typical office job, huh?
Well, you know what they say. Nothing worth doing is ever easy. But speaking of challenges, the guide also lists limited job opportunities as a potential con. Now, that struck me as odd because, I mean, cycling is booming.
Yeah. Everyone's on a bike these days, so what's the deal with that?
So here's where understanding industry trends is super important. And RoleCatcher actually dives into this in their industry trends section. The demand is definitely there, but it's becoming more specialized. E-bikes, for example.
Yeah, e-bikes. Everyone wants one.
Right. But they require a completely different skill set than your traditional bike assembly. So while the overall demand for bikes is going up, it's not as simple as just knowing how to, true a wheel anymore. It's kind of like the industry itself is shifting gears.
Okay, so it's not just about knowing how to put the pieces together anymore.
Yeah.
Got to understand the tech behind it, too.
Exactly. And that's where that whole limited job opportunities thing kind of falls apart. The industry trends section talks about how a traditional bicycle assembler might need to, level up their skills to stay competitive.
So you're saying they can't just be content with their wrench and tire pump anymore?
Hey, those are still important. But think about it, e-bikes, they've got batteries, motors, some even have software running the whole show. It's a whole different ballgame.
So does that mean someone wanting to get into this field is better off going straight into e-bike specialization?
It's not necessarily about going straight to one or the other. The cool thing is, a lot of the skills transfer over, Remember how we were saying there's a surprisingly high customer service aspect?
Yeah, 62%. Wild, right?
Exactly. Well, that's even more important with e-bikes. People have questions about range, charging, how the heck to even turn the darn thing on.
It's like you're not just a mechanic anymore. You're tech support on wheels.
Right. And that's just one example. The guide talks about how all those core skills, customer service, problem solving, even the sales and marketing stuff, it can all be a stepping stone to bigger and better things.
Hold on, back up a sec.
Yeah.
Sales and marketing. I thought we were talking about building bikes, not selling them.
And that's the thing. This advancement paths section, it was really eye-opening. They were talking about how all those skills combined with your mechanical knowledge, it can lead to becoming a supervisor. Maybe you specialize in high-end e-bike repairs, or even, and this is my favorite, you could start your own bike shop.
Whoa, now that's what I call thinking big picture. From assembling handlebars to running the whole darn show.
Exactly. And they break it down even further, outlining 4 career stages. Entry-level, junior, intermediate, senior. Each stage comes with a whole new set of responsibilities. There's a clear path for growth.
It's like leveling up in a video game. Except, you're trading pixels for pedals.
I like that. But, okay, let's be real for a sec. Even with a clear career path, actually landing that job, especially in today's market, it can feel like you're navigating a maze blindfolded. Anything in the RoleCatcher guides about that.
Yeah, because sending out a generic resume and hoping for the best isn't exactly a winning strategy.
And that's where the really cool stuff comes in. RoleCatcher, they have all these AI-powered features now designed to give you a serious edge. They actually have these articles on their site called things like RoleCatcher Ace, your interviews with tailored questions and AI-powered practice. RoleCatcher streamline your job search, integrated job boards, and CV analysis, and RoleCatcher your competitive edge.
Okay, now you've got my attention. But I gotta be honest, AI and bicycle assembly. Those two don't exactly scream match made in heaven to me.
That's what I thought too, but trust me on this. This is where it gets really interesting. Imagine this. You're applying for a job, right? RoleCatcher's AI analyzes the job description. Then it compares that to your resume, or CV, some people call it, and actually tells you what skills you might be missing. They call it the skills gap feature.
It was like having a personal career coach who's also like a master code breaker.
Exactly. It's all about working smarter, not harder. No more sending out generic applications and just hoping for the best, you know? You can tailor your CV to highlight the specific skills they're looking for, and it gets even better. RoleCatcher can even look at your CV and tell you, like, hey, your formatting's messed up, or you need to use this keyword more. It's like having one of those fancy resume consultants, but without the hefty price tag.
Okay, that's seriously impressive. I remember spending like hours trying to get my margins right, let alone making sure I was using the right industry jargon. It's like having a superpower, but for your job search.
Totally. And get this, they even have AI-generated interview practice questions. So you can practice your answers, get feedback, all without leaving your house.
All right, I'm sold. RoleCatcher sounds like a game changer, not just for aspiring bicycle assemblers, but honestly, anyone looking for a job these days.
Absolutely. But before we send everyone rushing off to update their CVs, let's take a second to recap what we've learned about our bicycle building buddies today. Because it seems like bicycle assembler, well, it barely scratches the surface.
It's so much more than just assembly.
Right. I mean, mechanical skills, that's a given. But we're also talking customer service, problem solving, even a little bit of tech support thrown in there.
And don't forget about that career progression. We're not just talking about a dead-end job here. Supervisor, specialized mechanic, even starting your own shop blocking. The possibilities are pretty impressive.
It all comes down to, being adaptable, staying curious, never stopping learning, really, just like what we're doing right now.
Speaking of learning, I always like to leave our listeners with a little something to think about. So all this talk about e-bikes, AI, the future of the industry, what does it all mean for the future of the bicycle assembler? Are we going to start seeing, like, bicycle technician on business cards?
That's a great question. It really makes you think about how technology is changing everything, right? I mean, maybe the bicycle assembler of tomorrow, they're going to need to be part mechanic, part software engineer.
Maybe they'll be programming e-bike software 1 minute, then fine-tuning a derailleur the next. Who knows?
It's pretty exciting when you think about it. And it makes you wonder what other jobs are going to be completely transformed in the next few years. But that's a deep dive for another day.
That is a great place to leave it. Big thanks to RoleCatcher for giving us so much to talk about today. Seriously, if you're at all interested in a career as a bicycle assembler, or, heck, any career, do yourself a favor and check out their website. Guides, tools, it's all there.
Couldn't agree more.
That's all we've got time for on this deep dive into the world of bicycle assemblers. Until next time, everybody, keep on rolling.